Okay, hey guys, how are you today? My name is Wahima and I'm coming to you with a topic. Dark-skinned girls are unattractive. Another YouTuber here on YouTube, Breeny Lee, got together with Beauty by JJ and they filmed a video a couple months ago called Dark-skinned girls are unattractive. So in this video, these two women who consider themselves dark-skinned talk about being attractive or their relative attractiveness by being dark-skinned. Beauty by JJ says in this video that she never really thinks about herself as being dark-skinned until someone says something to her about it. Personally, you guys know that in my mind, Beauty by JJ is not dark-skinned, but the girl Breeny Lee is dark-skinned, and they talk about a lot of really interesting things that I want to talk about in this video. So I'm just going to jump into the sections, sort of not questions, but sections of this topic. Section is your background. My mother is African American and my father is Belizean, Black Belizean. And so my ethnicity is Garifuna and my dad is Garifuna. There are people who live in Guatemala, Belize, and Honduras. So there are members of my family who only speak Spanish and Garifuna, which is our language, and the name of the culture. We are descendants of Africans, of slaves who were brought to the Caribbean for the slave trade. So yes, my mother is American Black, is Black American. So on that side of the family, I've actually been able to trace my roots back to slavery. So there's a lot in my background. There's a lot that I think about constantly. So I'm dark-skinned, I look African, I have a family who's not American, and I have family who is American. I'm closer to the non-American side of my family. Okay, so self-consciousness. So I guess that's like when I first realized I was dark-skinned. I would have to say I realized I was dark-skinned in the 8th grade when I was informed of it by a friend. In my very pro-Black conscious world, being Black was the center of that, and not dark-skinned, light-skinned, or medium-skinned, or whatever it is, was not a part of that. Like, all Black people were Black people, and I rooted for Black people in every instance. I did all of my projects and research papers on Black people or dark-skinned people, even if they weren't Black. I always picked the dark-skinned of whatever group they were. I even did a report on President Woodrow Wilson because he looked Black to me. Well, I did a report on James Baldwin in the 5th grade because we had to do a report on, I think, a writer or an artist or whatever. And so I've always been somebody who has done very, all Black everything. I wasn't conscious of being specifically dark-skinned until 8th grade, until I was around a lot of Black people. Junior high, I was super excited about having to meet up with all these Black people, and we were going to have this Black, it was going to be yeah, you know what I'm saying, proud of the people. And then I got there and it wasn't. It was very much light skin, dark skin, you're this, I'm pretty, you're not, all kinds of stuff that I got from Black people that I was not prepared for. And so it drove a wedge between me and the African American community full force. Media influence. A lot of people talk about the media influence as that's the standard of what's beauty. The media tells us what's beautiful. Personally, because the media was always the white man's media to me growing up, and I didn't see representation of myself even as a Black person. I didn't see very many Black people on TV, even though I have to say in the 90s, there was a lot of Black sitcoms on television. We had Living Single, we had Martin, we had The Cosby Show, we had Different World. We even had Homeboys in Space. We had the Jamie Foxx Show. We had so many shows that were Black shows, that I loved to watch. So I didn't pay attention to the white people, honestly. I never watched Friends. I didn't watch Alias. I didn't there was a lot of shows that a lot of people are always talking about to me, and I'm I never watched that show. Party of Five, none of that shit, because didn't have any Black people in it, and I'm still kind of like that. Because I'm an actor and now I have to know what's out there, I watch a lot more TV that doesn't have Black people in it, but for many, many, many years, I did not watch shows unless there were 2 people of color in it. Give me a Mexican, give me a Filipino, give me somebody, but you can't just be all white people, because I wasn't interested in it, because I felt like they weren't marketing towards me. They weren't asking me to watch their show because they didn't have anybody who looked like me in it. And that is something that I've been conscious of from the jump. So when people say the media, I'm Cosmo never had an effect on me because Cosmo didn't have any Black people on the cover. I didn't care about these magazines because they didn't care about me. Male attraction. So I went to an all-black church, right? So I went to an all-black African Methodist Episcopal church in Los Angeles. I went to First AME, for those of you who know about the AME churches. I went to First AME for 10 years. I got attention from men at First AME. And let me say that they were men. I didn't get attention from guys who were my age. So my age weren't necessarily into me. There was one dude who was into me, and he was biracial, and he was so fine. He had blue eyes, like, girl, fine. And he was in my age range. But like, nothing ever happened, you know what I'm saying? But otherwise, everybody else who was in my age range, I felt they were, if they were attracted to me, it was on the low. Men who were like in their 20s and I was like in my teens would tell me, and not inappropriately, but would be like, you're gonna, you know, you're very beautiful. Like, oh my God, you're gonna be such a looker when you get older. Like all this stuff. So there was always that. Like people are always telling me that I was pretty. But I never really cared because I was always more worried about being smart. I never cared because my peers didn't like me, so it didn't matter what these older men thought. It was kind of like I needed the guys who were my age to like me and to validate me. Pretty for a dark-skinned girl. Ugh. I think I've gotten that for sure. I've gotten it one time, I remember now, from a girl who told me, we were seniors in high school, and she was like, oh my God, when I first saw you, I was like, oh my God, you're so pretty, but you're so dark. You look super dark. And she's Mexican. And I was just kind of like, that's such a weird thing to say. Like, I don't know how that matters. Like the darkness of my skin negates my prettiness. So weird. But it affected me, you know, as all things affect people in this world. Like, you know, people can act like that things didn't bother them, but it does. It affects you in subtle ways. Maybe you weren't like thinking about it over and over again, you know, after it happened, but it affects how you feel about yourself. And I could kind of tell the way Breeny Lee is not aware of how she feels about being dark-skinned, because sometimes she answers the questions one way, and that's very pro dark-skin and positive, and then sometimes she answers the questions another way that's like very not. I don't too much want to talk about her, but I want to discuss that sort of issue because I feel like if she feels that way, there are 10,000 other women who feel that way as well. Oh my God, this entire time I'm not... I forgot my mic. Oh my God, there, that's better, right? I've gotten that from one girl, and it was just kind of weird how she sort of negated my prettiness because of being dark-skinned, and that was odd for me. But, you know, it was her opinion, and it affects you. It affects the way it hits your psyche, and you may not even realize it in a moment, but it does. Another time that I've gotten it is, I lived in New York City for 6 years, so I always got like, oh, you're pretty chocolate skin, or you know, I love that. I love dark-skinned women, and it always seemed like it was a revelation for them, and they were really excited to love dark-skinned women, and I just happened to be, you know, walking by them, and they felt the necessity to tell me that they felt so happy that they found me beautiful for my dark skin. And I'm like, okay. Skin bleaching. I've never considered it. I don't even use Ambi products because I always thought Ambi products skin bleached. I'm so scared of like not being proud of being dark-skinned. Is that weird? It's a weird thing. I don't know how, like, I try to picture myself lighter. I don't know what I would look like. And that unknown is terrifying. There are some times that I want to like, I want my skin to be even, and I want it all over to be even to the redder tones in my skin. Not that I want to lighten, but I want I want my skin all over to be this color. I would look weird because most people have dimension in their skin. Not everyone is just one skin tone, you know? Confidence. So I guess the question is, how do you have confidence as a dark-skinned woman? Eventually you get there. It's the best way I can put it. The two ladies, Breeny Lee and Beauty by JJ, had this very like kumbaya sort of flowery answer to that I didn't necessarily think is going to work for a lot of girls who are actively being made fun of for being dark skinned, or actively feel downtrodden and put upon for being dark skinned. Because I never cared about being beautiful, I let a lot of that go, and I didn't ponder over my prettiness during the time of, you know, puberty and emotions and synapses flying. So I don't recall a time. I do remember feeling like, oh, they're not going to like me because I'm dark skinned, but then that was the end of it. I don't know. I don't know how to explain the fact that I just gave up on that idea of being beautiful. I gave up on it and I didn't care. I mean, I cared to a certain extent, but like not enough to wear makeup or have fancier, prettier clothes, like not enough to really do anything about it. The confidence eventually came, and sometimes it was bundled in with the affection of men, and sometimes it wasn't. I never really believed people when they say it, because to me, there is evidence to the contrary, and the evidence to the contrary was so strong that I couldn't believe any of the positive. You know, it's hard to believe the positive and it's easy to believe the negative. Yeah, confidence comes eventually, and if you never get it, it's part of the reason why I have this channel, to help women with their confidence. And it also is your surroundings and your environment. It's really hard to rise above what people around you are telling you. If the air in your neighborhood or your family or your community is dark skin is ugly, dark skin can't wear red lipstick, dark skin shouldn't do this, dark skin shouldn't do that, it's really hard for you as a dark skinned woman to overcome that. You're honestly gonna have to move away. Like, that's really what it is. So when people say that it's like it comes from within and you just have to have it and you have to like try to find it, it's really hard when the outside around you is telling you that you're not pretty and you're not desirable, and you have to settle for like boo-boo nenes who come into your life and make you feel shitty about yourself. The one thing I will say that I notice is I notice a lot of dark-skinned women with guys that don't treat them right. And that makes me mad because I feel like a lot of times dark-skinned women like feel like they should just be able to, they have to just take any guy because they're black and they're ugly, and like they don't have to have a choice with who they end up with and who they have children with and who they choose to love. Like, you do have a choice. Again, it's hard if you're in a community where around you it makes you feel like you don't have a choice, you know? Okay. So role models. I don't have any role models. I mean, oh, I do. That's so not true. Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey are my role models. They've always been my role models. Since they were Celia and Sophia, those two women, like I almost want to cry because, and I don't even know, I know Whoopi Goldberg definitely is like dark skinned, but like I used to get made fun of and someone called me Whoopi Goldberg and I was like, yay! In like the 6th grade, and I was like, hooray, I'm Whoopi Goldberg. I don't know what it was about her. I think it was just her fearlessness. It was the fact that she had black gums and she used to smile the biggest smiles, and she had a round face, and she didn't shy away from that, and she's always had dreads. Like, stop it. I have eyeliner on that isn't waterproof. So annoying. Tears. Boo, right? Boo to tears. It's even worse because I get migraines. A role model. And I never really followed her life. Like, I don't know much about her. I know, you know what I'm saying? But I did follow her career as an actress and like the quality of the content of work she put out there. Even when some of it was silly, but I knew she had like reached a certain level in Hollywood where she commanded her own movies, you know, like as far as I knew, for me in my world, she was the only black woman, and she was dark skinned. Like, geez Louise, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was no other women, dark skinned women, who were doing it like she was, and she wasn't even wearing a ton of makeup doing it. She wasn't even fitting some sort of European ideal of standard of beauty, you know. And I loved that about her. I love that she never did that. I have to say that Oprah and Whoopi, you know, and Oprah being like smart, doing the damn thing, like making presidents. You guys know that Oprah is the queen of black people, right? Like, if you don't know that, I don't care what you think. I don't care how much you hate her. She's the queen of black people. She's the queen of black Americans. She's our queen. And there's no king. Because she holds the highest office. I feel like, for me, black American culture is like a monarchy, and she's the queen. So, beauty tips for dark-skinned girls. Watch my channel, girl. That's all you need. So, Dark Skin Divas on YouTube. Tell your friends. So, a lot of the beauty tips that Breeny Lee was giving, they pose problems for me, and you guys know why. I just finished talking about highlighting and such. And she said that she was told by a friend that the reason why guys will pick a lighter skinned girl over a dark skinned girl is because you can't really see a dark skinned girl's features. And I've been thinking about that. I have to say that if someone doesn't see the beauty of a dark skinned person because their features are hidden because of the darkness, then they're not worth your time, because use your freaking eyeballs. Use your eyes and look. I was at a function. I'm very California right now. I was at this function at my family house. I was at this function at my aunt's house, and I was looking around because there was a lot of Black people standing around. We were watching my cousin go off to prom. And I was looking at all of the faces, and there were all different hues of people. And I was looking, and I was just like, do I notice the features of the light-skinned person more so than the dark-skinned person? And I was looking, and I was looking, and I was just like, no. I notice who has on makeup and who doesn't, who needs a little concealer girl and who doesn't. I can't say that I don't see their features. It would be lazy of me to say that. And I'm not a lazy person. I saw their features. Whether or not I liked their features, whether or not I thought their features were as accentuated or as beautiful, I can't say that. It really depends on the beholder. Like, there were some women who were lighter who I was like, bleh. And there were some who were darker who I was like, bleh. Like, you know, it's like, it doesn't matter about the relative skin tone. It has to do with the features that I see because I use my eyeballs and look at them. Tips for dark skin is what colors look good on you, what colors you want to try on your face, what colors pop, how to get the colors to pop, using a base, using a primer. Those are the tips that I have, and those are general beauty tips. They're not necessarily beauty tips specifically for dark skin. I don't want to tell you to contour anymore. I'm not going to tell you to highlight. I'm not going to tell you to you know, only wear this color lipstick. Yeah, there are some lipsticks with some tones that don't look as appealing to me, but I'll try them on for you. And if you like them, then go with it, girl. I know we worry about that. We worry about whether or not colors look good on us. And there are some colors and tones that don't look good. It's really don't look good to me. I don't necessarily know that it doesn't look good on dark skin. You get what I'm saying? So the last one is how we can make a change. But in the States, it's really a hard thing to sort of root out. The colorism here is so real. And I don't know how to change that. I have no answers for that. People are going to teach their kids damaging things, and it's just going to continue to keep going. You know, BET could do something about it. BET needs to have more Black positive programming. I think that it really is going to take people like Ava DuVernay and Oprah and all the movers and the shakers and Issa Rae and all these people who are producing shows and television that show dark-skinned people, light-skinned people, people of color of different shades doing different things, and not having it being constructed and into this sort of mold of what society tells us dark-skinned women versus light-skinned women versus dark-skinned men versus dark-skinned, light-skinned men can do. You know, we need to see more diversity in that way. And that way the media can help us. And it has to do with like education and consciousness, like white supremacy and all these things that have Black people in America and all over the diaspora feeling some way about being dark-skinned. Okay, so to give you some little comments about what the lady said in the video that I found to be like, meh. So Breeny Lee made a comment about Black people in the States doing team light skin and team dark skin, and how it really shouldn't matter because we're all Black. I get where she's coming from, but again, that to me is very kumbaya. The team dark skin and team light skin is already happening. It's happening on Twitter. It's happening on Instagram. It's happening. There's no way to stop it from happening. It's already there. I wave the team dark skin flag. Light-skinned women have their issues. We all saw light girls, and we all saw that, you know, it's hard for them. But I think, and it's because I'm biased, because I'm dark-skinned, I think that dark-skinned women in their psyche, it's more detrimental for dark-skinned women in our community because of the equation of being dark, being angry, being ugly, having an attitude. All these things like are so negative on dark-skinned women. You know, like I said, I watch light girls, so I know that light girls have their issues too that are super valid, and I'm not negating them. I'm just saying I think the dark-skin plight is worse. We wave the flag because we want to have support and positivity, and we want to feel beautiful. You know, the general consensus is that being light skinned is the way to be, or being not dark skinned is the way to be. But the fact is that it is a deal here, and we have to acknowledge it, and we have to try to have empowerment in it and move forward. And I put team dark skin because I want everyone to know that I'm proud of being dark skinned, and I'm happy with being dark skinned, and I'm not shying away from it or trying to change my features or trying to highlight or low light certain features to make myself more beautiful or to stand out. Like, I want to be team dark skin with my African scarf and my dark skin. And you know, like they were saying, oh, it's not a game, it's not a competition, we're all black. Yes, we all are black, but most black people aren't conscious. And so until we get them all conscious, thinking about us as a team versus trying to raise each other up as a community and as a culture, trying to elevate ourselves and I don't want to say elevate because I think that we're low right now, but I'm saying like the mentality, the idea. I think there are a lot of black people who do think that they're less than and they don't even know it. So I have a video, it's called Makeup Tutorial for Black Women with Dark Skin. It's called Old Gold Pigment. I put this up November 23rd, 2013. It has 333,315 views. Wow. In like 18 views, it's going to be 33333. Cool. That video is the video that actually I make money from. The rest of the videos, I don't make any money from. But there is a conversation on there happening in Arabic about my relative prettiness. There is a guy who writes in Arabic and in English, sometimes depending on who's responding to his negativity. And he is talking about how ugly I am. How black women, especially dark-skinned black women, are not pretty. And then I have people who are responding to him, women who are responding to him who could either understand it. And so I'm gleaming just a little bit from the conversation that's put in English about how he's racist and dark-skinned women and black women are beautiful and all this stuff. And I don't disable these comments because the more conversation they have on this, the better it is for me in the long run as far as analytic goes on YouTube. So who cares? Also, I don't know this man. I don't care about him and his opinion. But it is a real thing. And he's Arabic. He's not even in part of the black community, you know? So everyone has their opinions about this. And it's not something that is just going to go away if we hold hands and sing about it, you know? Like, this is a real issue that people are dealing with, and I'm dealing with, and you're dealing with. And I'm here to confront those issues head on and not put a band-aid on it and tell it that we all just need to love each other and we need to love ourselves. Like, you have to find that love, and it's hard, and everybody's path is different. And I'm just here to try to help you and push you forward and aid you on this journey. And I'm learning from you the same way you're learning from me. I have my hang-ups the same way you have your hang-ups. Honest with ourselves, because if we're honest with ourselves and we talk about what's going on, then we can help things to heal. I hate when people say that we need to stop talking about it because by talking about it, we're perpetuating it. This is not one of those issues. Skin tone and colorism is not one of those issues that we need to stop talking about and that it'll go away. It'll go away when we all realize that it doesn't matter, but not all of us realize that. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching this long ass video. I really, really appreciate it. Please leave your comments and concerns down below. Have a conversation. You can yell at me. I'll get hurt for a little bit and then I'll think about it and come back and yell back at you. Okay? Have a fantastic day, you guys, and see you in my next video. Bye.